EdTech Mod Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 8, and my thoughts on this episode. Now, I haven't been covering Lower Decks for a bit because I've got a new job, don't have that much time on my hands, and I kind of thought, I'm not really enjoying this series. It's pretty bland, and do I really want to waste my time reviewing this shit show? And I was like, no. But I was on Twitter, just scrolling through, and then I just see this image. And if you know, I think most of you know what image I'm talking about when I'm talking about episode 8. Yeah, I saw the image of Boimler naked. And I'm just like, holy shit, what the fuck has Lower Decks done now? So I watched this episode, and Jesus fucking Christ, we are back, baby. We are back to the shit. Lower Decks, the worst of the worst. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I thought we were just going to keep getting boring episodes all season. Nope, Lower Decks, you've done it again. A terrible fucking episode with massive mistakes, pointless scenes, terrible characters. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, this show is just complete and utter fucking trash. Thank you for this, Lower Decks. This episode, wow, was it bad. Mariner playing to what she always is, a damn bitch. Boimler, always the cuck. Ah, God, it felt so good watching this episode because it, again, fucking terrible episode. But at least it gets you to that angry point where you're passionate to talk about this shit. Oh, this episode, it was trash. I cannot believe some moron signed off on this and said this is an episode we want to release. This episode we want people to watch. Nobody around the table, nobody who read this episode said to themselves, this might be going too far. I mean, come on. That fucking scene with the fucking orgy. Come on. Nobody thought that would be over the fucking top. I mean, good God. Oh man, I can't believe it. I mean, it's not difficult to make a good episode of Star Trek. It really isn't. But these people, they just have got no fucking clue. And again, they're trying to be Rick and Morty. And I say this in every fucking review because it is true. Because they're trying to push the envelope out and just say we're not going to go completely over sexualize this shit, but we are going to go make this shit sexy or something. I mean, every fucking episode there has been sex jokes, there has just been sex in it. I mean, come on, Star Trek never used to be this way. Because I saw an argument on Twitter saying Star Trek has always had sex in it. It's been implied sex. It's never been full blown fucking out there in your face like this episode, for God's sake. It's just this is where Star Trek is now. Lower Decks. This is where they want to fucking show people what the new Star Trek is for. It's just for fucking saddos who have, I don't know, sexual frustration or something. Because listen, if you're getting sex, you don't really do this sort of stuff. You don't really go over the top with your sex jokes. You don't go over the top with your kind of sexualizing shit if you're having sex. Because to be honest, if you have sex, you're fine. So a lot of these writers, please fucking get a girlfriend or buy a whore. Because Jesus Christ, your work is paying for it. Because this is rubbish, this episode. So I'm going to go into spoilers, but if I'm going to give this episode a grade, I'm going to say this is a 2. Because it was bloody awful. I mean, I'll give it 1+, and that was the Boimler stuff. And I'll give it credit. Boimler, you know, I liked him in this episode. But it's still a shit as fuck episode. So that's non-spoilers. Let's get onto the spoiler section of this episode. I mean, of this review. Right, so, so happy I get to talk about this. We start off with Lower Decks crew on some fucking satellite, trying to repair it. The captain hears a message of someone in distress, and then she walks out of there and leaves the lower decks team on the satellite. Okay, point one. That's never going to happen because a fucking captain would never be that stupid. And if this captain is that stupid, how the fuck is she in charge of a starship? She would know that there's a crew out on a fucking satellite. She would know that because she would either have ordered it, or there's just so many reasons why the crew, why the lower decks members would never have just been left behind, especially when it takes about 2 seconds to beam them back on the ship. I mean, maybe it would have made sense in the Enterprise days where they had to send a shuttle out to get them. I mean, even then, it was not going to take that long to get a shuttle to them. So the captain is a stupid cow. I mean, good God. Anyway, the ship goes off to answer the distress call, comes back because Tilly has to say, I'm sure they haven't forgot us. And then they had this then the scene comes out 7 hours later or something, and they've been frozen. I mean, again, that's not how ice works in space. You know, you don't get icicles on you. It'll probably be around the sphere of the mask and shit, but it wouldn't be that massive on the suits. So I know they're trying to make that like a little joke, but it's just not funny when you kind of know what space is like. I mean, for God's sake. So Starfleet send a woman to help train the crew and to get them more motivated to make sure they don't fuck up again. Now, I hate these seminar people who try to fucking, you know, they come in and pretty much tell you how to fix your shit, and then they make you do all these stupid team workouts with each other. It's very boring stuff. In the army they do it, but at least in the army it's another military person who does it with you, not some prick from one office. And unfortunately I've been in that other situation as well, when this idiot from the office who tries to be so friendly with you and say, oh, let's work together, we're going to have fun, and you're just like, please just shut the fuck up, we know what this is about, we fucked up and we have to have a fucking talk about it. Anyway, that's just personal experience and shit. Anyway, so this woman's come, and the captains, you know, the captain and Mariner are having this argument saying who's got the harder job. So this episode is pretty much just about, you know, the lower decks crew knowing what it's like for the deck crew, I mean the bridge crew, and the bridge crew knowing what it's like to be on the lower decks crew. So that's what this episode is pretty much about. At least that's what they're trying to make you think it's about. So the work coach switches their roles, makes the lower decks crew the bridge crew, and the bridge crew the lower decks crew. And I'm going to get through the bridge crew's experience first because it's pretty short and it gets to the point pretty much. They think the lower decks crew's life's pretty easy, and they think, you know, they don't have to do much, no responsibility. And then we get their first test, which is their ship's being invaded by Klingons, but instead of the crew, I mean, instead of the lower decks crew being, well, the bridge crew being sent in to help the ship defend against a Klingon invasion, they're told to stack boxes? Okay, first mistake. 1. If a ship's been attacked, all members of the crew are, by law, even in maritime law, in the British Navy, in the Royal Navy, in the American Navy, you're supposed to repel borders wherever you are. They're not going to send you to take a fucking load of boxes and stack them whilst the ship's under attack. It's ridiculous. And I know they're trying to play this joke continuously with them trying to put the boxes up and then the ship getting hit again and the boxes fall down. Yes, that's probably why you wouldn't stack boxes when your ship's under attack. That's why you would grab a phaser and fight the fucking Klingons. It was just a dumb joke that didn't need to happen. And a lot of these fucking stories were just bloody stupid. I mean, completely fucking stupid. Anyway, so I think that was literally it for the bridge crew on their test. Just one test, and it was to do with boxes. And, you know, it's supposed to show them that, you know, as they are not the bridge crew, they're not going to be told information they need to know. They're not needed because the rest of the ship was going to apparently deal with the Klingons. And so basically they were learning what it was like to be a lower decker. And a bit of me was like, yeah, that makes sense. But you could have done better stories to cover that instead of them just having to carry boxes, for God's sake. God damn it, man. But let's go to the other crew members, the lower decks crew. Who do we go to first? Let's go to the... what is his name again? Ah, for God's sake. not science officer, the engineer guy. I don't know, cyborg guy. So his task is, well, his assigned mission is to pretty much do the Khan Spark sacrifice bit, which was literally the same fucking thing this show keeps doing, which is copying from better things and putting it in their episodes, thinking that's going to help an episode. No, it's really not. It's fucking stupid. Why not make him do something original? Not just make him do what fucking Spock did. This entire episode was just, again, another fucking Lower Decks thing, which is copying from better things and putting it into their show thinking it's good. It's not. It's really fucking not. Anyway, so he has to get to the crystals that are apparently going to blow up because that's what Spock did, and he can't enter the door because this moron didn't have gloves. That's the only reason he could open a fucking door. That's it. All he had to do was get a fucking pair of gloves and he could open that fucking door. Like, why wouldn't the computer give him any gloves? No, this idiot tries to touch a door that's near a fucking exploding core. It's obviously going to be fucking red hot. He touches it twice, by the way. Yeah, the first time you should have fucking known that's going to be hot. God's sake, this guy's... Oh, fucking hell. But, so he just, instead of getting gloves, he just takes his shoes off and then tries to open it like that. He eventually does get open, but it's too late and the ship just explodes. Boom. And that's him done for the entire episode. Yeah, stupid scene, massive error, and it's just laughable. And not into the type of way they want to make you laugh. Just, I just don't care. I really just don't care. Oh, so that's him done. Let's get on to Tilly. Ah, Tilly. So, Tilly's test was pretty much a Klingon wanted to kill himself. Okay, problems. 1. Tilly is a fucking doctor on a Federation ship. They don't do that shit. If a Klingon asks a Federation doctor to kill them, guess what happens? They have to say no. Because that's the fucking rules. The Hippocratic Oath. The fucking rules of Starfleet. Rules of Starfleet fucking trump personal creature rules. Or personal species laws. That's the point of Starfleet. You know, the Starfleet's laws are bigger than everybody else's laws. So a Klingon can't ask a Federation officer to do that in the first place. And by the way, a Klingon wouldn't be happy about committing suicide, because the only reason a Klingon would want that sort of shit to happen to them is they're either dishonoured or they have dishonoured themselves in a way they can't just come back from. So a Klingon is not going to ask a random fucking doctor to stab them with a fucking knife. They're going to get somebody in their family to do it, or someone they respect to do it, not just some random fucking doctor. So this entire fucking scene, full of fucking errors, and it's just fucking ridiculous. But Tilly fails it anyway because she doesn't kill the Klingon. But actually, she actually passed that because that's fucking the rules of Starfleet. These people don't understand anything about Star Trek. Because again, we've seen this shit before because we saw this in Deep Space Nine where Worf's brother asked Worf to kill him and Sisko stopped him because that's against the fucking rules of Starfleet. We've seen this shit before. Maybe don't nick from better Star Trek if you don't understand the basics of what you're nicking. You dumb fucks. Anyway, so that's Tilly's done. Why don't we get on to the woman herself, Mariner shit. Okay, so Mariner shit is the worst, the worst shit of this episode. So, her first fucking trial is the Terran Empire stuff. I mean, these tests, now again, Tilly's one and the and the engineering guys' tests, okay, stupid, but you can kind of see what they're kind of trying to train them in, even if it is stupid. But Mariner's ones, all three of them, stupid, shit, didn't make sense. Why would you need to train a Starfleet officer to know any of this? Makes no fucking sense. So, her first mission, as I've said, was a Terran Empire episode. I mean, Terran Empire test. Don't understand why she needs to be tested for that, because the Terran Empire is gone at this point in, if this is in lore, Star Trek lore history. That Terran Empire is dead, it's gone. Why would you need to train for that? Why not make it a infiltration of a Klingon ship, a Romulan ship, a fucking Cardassian ship? Why a fucking Terran ship? Oh no, it's just to have them use the same crew so they can do another sex joke, and so Mariner can bump into one of them and have a fight and say, oh, she's all man and shit. That was about it from that fucking test. She fails it, by the way, because Boimler spots her and he wants to get onto a much more sleazier ship, apparently, because there's this whole fucking scene with him as well. Oh, god damn, man, this episode was shit. Yeah, so she fails that first mission. Next mission, she's in the Wild West, because again, why are you training her for this type of shit? I have no idea. Apparently a horse, she tries to ride a horse, the horse doesn't like her and then just steps on her, and if that was real life, she probably would have been dead, because a horse, I mean, if you've ever been kicked in the chest by a horse, you're dead, basically. And if a horse is stomping on you, you're not just walking away from that shit. But yeah, she fails this test as well. And her final fucking test. Oh my god. Was the outbreak virus test, which was the virus that was in Next Generation that made everybody want to have sex with each other, or made people want to fight each other. So, in this episode, in this training exercise, there was nobody wanted to fight anybody. Everybody just wanted to have dirty fucking sex. That was it. That's all they got from the episode. It didn't explain the shit about this virus infecting your brain, making you docile, making you stupid, turning you into some sort of fucking dumbass. That's why people were given into their urges, because the higher functions were being fucked about with. And all they did was make sex jokes about it. Again, if you watch the Next Generation episode, you understand what this virus is. You watch this episode, it's literally just a sex joke. That's all this was. A fucking orgy. I mean, what the fuck? These people have no understanding of what Star Trek tries to do with this sort of shit. Oh my god. And I am never going to be able to watch that Star Trek, that Next Generation episode again without seeing Lower Decks. That you've taken that from me, Lower Decks, you fucking cunts. Oh my god. And then Mariner fails this one, but you can kind of understand it, because yeah, it's just like over the fucking top, and she wants to get out of there, so she just ejects herself from the ship and the rest of the crew as well. So she fails that test as well. And pretty much she goes to the bar and is just pretty much depressed because she's failing every fucking test. We now go on to Boimler. Now I'm going to say this, I kind of liked Boimler's stuff because, you know what, he's a dedicated crewman who wants to he wants to, be promoted, he wants to lead his own ship one day, so he wants to, pass this test. And the first attempt he does, he passes at 63%. But Boimler starts to say he can do better. So this entire episode, he's just getting better and better at passing this one test. I'll give them credit for that. They didn't try to fuck with him. I mean, I was giving them credit until the final part of this episode with Boimler. Again, it was good for a little bit of Boimler, but then they kind of fucked it at the end. So Boimler continues to get better at this test, and whilst he's doing this test, the crew are pretty much depressed because they failed all their tests, and Mariner and the captain start to have a chat with each other, and they then understand what this was. At least they think they understand what this test was about. It's about teamwork because they start to understand each other. They start to see what the problem is between them. It's like they don't understand each other's like daily life. They don't understand what they do on the ship as much, or they don't respect it as much. But Marin and the captain seem to figure that out for themselves, and they go to the work coach to tell her that they've figured out the plan. I mean, they figured out the mission, and they've passed it now because the crew's happy now. They're working together. They understand each other more. Turns out that the work coach only picked this ship because she knew that they were all going to fail. That was not to the point. So there was no point to this fucking training exercise other than her to make sure this entire crew failed all their tests. I mean, picking the fucking Cerritos, I mean, you're guaranteed that they're going to fuck this up. So I got to commend her for that. Good choice. And so Mariner and the captain now had to figure out a way to stop her from sending these failures back to Starfleet, because if she does send it back to Starfleet, the Cerritos would be decommissioned and the crew would be disbanded and sent to different ships. Again, makes fucking sense. I mean, if all your crewmen are failing the fucking tests, it kind of means that there's a problem in the command structure. You know, if you're doing a good job as a captain, most of your fucking crew should be passing the fucking tests, not fucking failing them. But they're not gonna fucking get rid of Cerritos, so obviously that they're gonna win by forcing this woman to lie on the test and say they all passed and send that back to Starfleet. So they go to all these dangerous places to scare the shit out of the work coach and to pretty much terrify her into complying to them. So it's basically blackmail. So this captain is going to sacrifice her entire crew so that she can get rid of bad test scores. That's a Starfleet captain that Lower Decks wants to say is the best captain. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. So, the only reason the test doesn't get sent back to Starfleet straight away is because Boimler is still doing his tests. And because he's still doing his tests, they got to make sure he doesn't finish his tests, because once he finishes his tests, they'd have to stop the programs, and then the test will be sent to Starfleet. So Boimler has to then just stay in that fucking test all fucking day, running from the Borg, because Mariner and the captain need to blackmail the work coach. I mean, it's fucking insane. And so the work coach gives in. Boimler gets captured by the Borg and assimilated, and it's a big joke at the end. And then the episode ends with the captain giving the Lower Decks crew a better replicator that has better food in it, and Boimler then makes a joke about how the Borg have taken everything from him, and that's how the episode ends. And that's it. This episode was fucking horseshit. Oh my god, Lower Decks is back for me. Yes, I will be reviewing tomorrow's episode, because I'm doing this on a Wednesday. It comes out on a Thursday. So, let's hope we get the same garbage tomorrow. Oh my god, it's good to have shit Lower Decks back. Why the fuck this show has been given a season 2, I will never know. It is a terrible show. These are terrible writers. How the fuck can CBS consider wasting money on this, especially after losing so much during this issue in the world right now? Can't say it because, you know, YouTube said that if you say it, you're going to get demonetized or you're going to get your channel ripped, so I can't say anything, but you'll know what I mean when I say world problem, blah 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 blah. But yeah, if this show gets a season 3, it's a fucking joke. They just don't care anymore. I mean, they don't care, but I mean, there's just no reason for this show to get a season 3. But that's my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And do think about subscribing if you like my content. Hail the Phantom Menace, long live CG, and fuck SJWs. Bye.